Hi, I'm Lindsay, host of the Live Like Eden podcast. What do you do when your whole life flips upside down? Are you questioning everything, lost in chaos, or yearning for life's deeper meaning? I've been there, deep in the thick of it, unraveling my own awakening mess for over 20 years. Now I'm here to help you through yours. I share no-nonsense weekly wake-ups, cutting through the ego's illusions to wake you up to your own spiritual wisdom. No mountaintop bliss needed here, just practical tools, insights, and real-life experience to save you time. Plus, a much-needed laugh when we're all losing it. Let's dive into this fresh new episode. Welcome back to another episode and Happy New Year. This is the first episode of the new year. I hope you're all doing well and had a lovely holiday season. And now it's time to get back to life, right? Today, I sit down with a woman by the name of Amy Marohn. Amy is a spiritual hypnotist, a trance medium, and founder of Sensorium Hypnosis. She spent over 30 years in rehabilitation and healing. And for the past 10 years, she specialized in spiritual hypnosis for leaders, entrepreneurs, and light workers who are ready for soul-level transformation. But today we sit down and have a very candid discussion about how she got to do all of this. That's what I love on this show is what was the transformation or the event or experiences in your life that have brought you to do what you do today. And Amy explains her mystery illness she had for years, followed by a near-death experience that utterly changed her life and brought her to this divine calling. She's going to explain it all to us today. She also is the author of a book by the name of Whispers Beyond the Veil. We'll get into that later in the show. I will link everything about Amy, her website, how to contact her, and how to order her book in the show notes for you. I hope you enjoy this chat today, and I will be back with you all next week. All right. Hello, Amy. Welcome. I'm so excited you're joining me today.
Oh, good morning, Lindsay. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to connect.
Oh, I was so excited when I got your email because I just immediately was like, oh, she's perfect for the show.
Oh.
Everything you wrote. And you're a spiritual hypnotist, which I'm really excited to get into with you. You're also a trance medium and have had like 30 years of experience helping people, which is huge. But you had a near-death experience that seems to maybe have started your whole mission in life. So I would love for you to share with us that experience, what it was like take us back to that moment.
Absolutely. Lindsay, for years, I had been struggling with what I refer to as a mystery illness. And I just want to say to other people who are listening to this, if you're a light worker, if you're a helper healer, mystery illnesses are pretty common.
Yes.
They usually later on in life take the form of autoimmune diseases, which was exactly what was happening to me in my 40s following a major surgery. I had had a hysterectomy and for whatever reason just didn't heal well. And of course, we will never know, the exact origin of this autoimmune disease. But I call it the perfect storm, right? Childhood trauma, that's very common in mediums and light workers, along with, a traumatic birth and the layering of other life traumas. Then I have this medical event, and 2 years later, following this surgery, find myself in the worst autoimmune storm of my life. 5 years searching for answers, chasing doctors, traveling to Michigan on a monthly basis for a year at the opportunity to work with a doctor who could put a name on this condition and possibly even reverse it, or at least, as I like to say, turn down the volume on my symptoms. Just briefly, fevers, severe and profound chronic fatigue, what's called post-exertional malaise. So just even activities of daily living, showering, walking across the street to fetch my mail, driving to and from work, left me with such profound fatigue, I could barely function.
Wow.
Also, chronic pain that moved through just about every system of my body. And I mean, without exaggeration, I really did feel as if I was dying.
Yeah.
And I suffered quietly behind closed doors. Met this doctor in Michigan, flew from Seattle to Michigan 10 months in a row. He slapped a name on this rare autoimmune disorder. It's called myalgic encephalomyelitis. I wouldn't
It's like,
expect, I
wow.
mean, it took me 3 years to be able to, commit that to memory. And even now, when I go to spell it, it takes about 5 minutes for my brain to organize the letters. It's known
Sure.
as, and yeah, I mean, it's just
What a
a great,
mouthful.
like,
Yeah.
it's a rare condition. I don't know who named it, but we would have words. For short, it's ME. And essentially, what is it? It's inflammation of the brain and spinal cord.
Mm.
Also, there's a lot of muscle fatigue. The cells in my body are misshapen and don't produce enough energy.
Mm.
So that's the explanation in layman's terms. 10 years of flying back and forth to Michigan with this Harvard educated Western medicine doctor who also had the condition,
Hmm.
who was seeing patients well into his 80s.
Wow.
He's since passed. He was an amazing soul. However, the very strong antivirals that he was putting into my system wasn't helping. In my particular case, it seems we had missed the optimal window of time where this medication and protocol may have been able to reverse this illness. And so at the 10-month mark, I tearfully hugged this beautiful soul
Yeah.
farewell and came home and threw my arms up in the air and just said, God, either take me or heal me, but don't leave me this way.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, within several days of this bargaining conversation with God, I had a near-death experience.
Wow.
I was at home. I was alone in my own bed in this very space
Hmm.
that we're now conversing in. My soul left my body very rapidly, right out of it, without exaggeration, felt like I was traveling at a speed I could barely describe.
Hmm.
And immediate sense of lightness and floating. My near-death experience and that experience of, as I say, crossing the threshold into a higher frequency
Mm-hmm.
place was mostly clairaudient and clairsentient.
Okay.
So what I can explain to those who aren't familiar with those terms is I'm hearing via mental telepathy thoughts or ideas that are being downloaded into my mind very rapidly. And so, for the purpose of this conversation, I'll refer to it as the voice.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice on the other side said, Amy, are you ready to leave the earth plane?
Hmm.
And
Can I ask
before,
a question real quick, Amy?
sure,
Just to
yeah,
clarify, when you say voice, is it an actual voice like we're talking? Or are you hearing it like in your mind's eye
in my
voice?
mind,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, in my mind via mental telepathy.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, and so and perhaps audiently to me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's downloaded into my mind at a level, speed, and depth that like defies human senses.
Right.
And so I hear or I sense this voice or this concept and that asks me essentially, are you ready to leave the earth plane? And in that moment, before I could even respond, my being is downloaded the cumulative emotional impact that this early departure would have on my son.
Mm.
He's 9 years old at the time. And again, no words to describe the level of grief and sadness that he would feel, but also as a mother of as a single mother of an only child,
Mm.
would have been then left in the care of my elderly mom. I knew in that moment intuitively that I had a soul contract with my son.
Ah, that just
And
came to you instantly, like you just knew.
instantly,
Yeah.
instantly. I mean, it took, days, weeks, months, even years to unpack this experience and be able to articulate it in a way
Mm-hmm.
that would be palatable or understandable
Right.
to others. And so, I really kept this experience to myself
That was
for
my question to you was what
yeah,
happened after that? How was you?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, so you're in your room
yeah.
and you have this experience, then you know you died, right?
Mm-hmm,
And can you maybe give us some terminology? I know this is hard because like you say, there's no language for it, but so many
mm-hmm.
people talk about this light and they're seeing all this stuff. What was your like experience in that way?
Sure. Well, it's interesting too, right, Lindsay, because most near death experiences that we've heard about, someone has a heart attack and, they're clinically dead for 7 minutes and they know this because the EMTs are there or,
Mm-hmm.
they're in a hospital setting or a loved one is performing CPR until, help arrives. Or the other common scenario is someone's in, surgery and something goes south. They have a reaction to the anesthesia or, the doctor and staff stumble upon something unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
And the person, is clinically dead. In my case, I had so many trips to the ER over the years. I had a completely dysregulated autonomic nervous system. We'll get to that later because the plot thickens. But for me, for whatever reason, it was less of a visual experience and it was more, clairaudient, things that I heard and things that I felt.
Right.
What I will say to complete, my experience of the near death experience is what spirit said in that moment is if we send you back, you will live more intentionally.
Mm.
And of course I had no idea what that meant
Right.
in that moment or in that millisecond. But what I can tell you is I made an intentional choice to come back and complete my journey here on earth. And I intuitively knew my life would never be the same
Mm.
having crossed this threshold. And I'll share more. I mean, I felt my spiritual body reemerge into my physical body almost as quickly as it left.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like a sponge kind of just
I was going to say,
morphing back.
what does that feel like to come back? You said you left very quickly, very rapidly.
Mhm.
Like I'm getting an image of just like almost catapulting through
Yes,
time.
completely.
Yeah. And then coming back, what was that? Was that difficult? I mean, did you know what I'm saying? Were you in a
It
space of,
was, yeah, I mean, it was so surreal, Lindsay. I mean, literally, it was almost like I was just drop kicked like a football back into there was no time to
uh-huh,
even, panic or wonder or process. With the
interesting.
processing, the real processing came afterwards. All
Hmm.
I knew is I remember sitting up in my bed and turning on my light, saying, like, thinking to myself, like, did that just even happen?
Happen. Yeah.
Did that just, and nobody in the bed next to me to process this. My family upstairs sound asleep.
Right.
And so here I am taking this all in and realizing, boy, something profound happened. Like, I just literally crossed this sacred threshold. And so I came back into my body. I don't even, I mean, I'm through that evening. I remember settling back into a light sleep
Mm-hmm.
and awakening the next day, like putting my feet on, next to my bed and just thinking, I'm being guided.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being protected. Like, I am not nearly as alone as I thought I had been. Because at this point, Lindsay, I had lost everything. I had stepped away from my corporate six-figure job, because I just couldn't. I
Yeah.
mean, I was barely, and at this point, I'm only able to stay awake 2 hours a day.
Wow.
This is all the energy my body could produce. I've been to the hospital and used the EMT fire department services so much time, or so many times, Lindsay. I'm sure we were on a first name
I'm,
basis.
I'm sure.
I mean, it's horrifying when you think about it.
Yeah, the
I had
regular.
already done a tour. I mean, I had already spent days in the cardiac unit,
Wow.
with a team of doctors who were trying to figure what is causing my heart to go into tachycardia, speed up at
Mm.
unhealthy levels, or slow down to bradycardia to the point where my blood pressure is bottoming out.
So you were talking about the autonomic nervous system before was it just freaking out, right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
completely. So, it's funny. I mean, I do have maybe it's because I blame my New York heritage for my sarcasm and humor. But people podcasters, or just even people who know me, will say, like, what was the cause of death? And I laugh and I said, there's only one cause of death: your heart stops.
Yeah.
I really do
It's
believe
true.
that somehow my heart got into such a low
Mm.
rhythm. I went into bradycardia, that something happened. My
Yeah.
oxygen was cut off, and there I was. And
Wow.
with and I know, I mean, later on I was diagnosed with another rare condition. I'm like, boy, man, I can't wait to talk to my guides on the other side to say, like, come on, people, really? I mean, I say I must have signed off on that soul contract under extreme duress, under the influence of some mind altering or soul altering substance,
Yeah.
because I can't believe what I signed up for.
Right. Like, why do I have
Yeah.
to go through all this?
Oh,
Yeah.
completely. I know. I had another, you know, diagnosis where my one of my main arteries in my body was compressed and
Mm.
cutting off blood supply to my digestive organs.
Oh, geez.
And I think this had been going on a long time. It's just that I experienced a worsening of it through the pandemic. So that led to another really um, frightening situation. So either way, my soul is like, we got to do this, Amy. We got to do this next time. We're in it for the long haul. And so getting back to the near-death experience, the body then, or the soul being absorbed back into the physical body, within several weeks of that experience happening, remembering now, I'm in a house I can't afford. My mother from New York, who lost her husband, is, fairly recently moved out here to live with me.
Oh,
I have no job. I went through a divorce. Through all of this, I am the sole provider for this small or relatively young child.
yeah,
And I'm deathly ill.
right.
And things aren't really looking good for, for
You're making
Amy.
it sound like it was not going well at
It
all.
was not, I mean, right? I mean, it was not going well.
You were
But
crashing and burning is what was happening.
exactly. And
Yeah.
careful what you wish for. I say take me or leave me.
Yes.
Don't leave me this way. And now 100% of my faith is in spirit. And they do not disappoint.
Yeah. So
And
what
so,
can I ask you a question? What
yeah,
was your relationship to spirit? Did you have a connection to spirit prior to this?
yeah,
I was going to say, were you
I
always this
did.
way or what happened?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm I'm now, it's like spirit on steroids
Okay.
post the near, but prior to this, even as a small child, Lindsay, um, I I was raised Catholic.
Hmm.
9 years in a Catholic school. I knew I was a little bit different, not in a good way. um,
Not by those
not
standards.
in a popular way, right? It was, I just felt this really deep soul connection with divine source. For me, it's God.
Hmm.
I always just felt very loved, very guided in a different direction. I knew that I was going to take a healing path.
Hmm.
Um, I was channeling, I didn't know it at the time, but I was channeling music at a very young age,
Mm.
songs at 7, 8, 9 years old,
Oh, wow.
even though I was a horrible piano student. And I was the shyest human on the planet. If I
Mm.
got called to go up and do a math problem in front of the room, my little knees, my bony
Hmm.
knees would shake. I
Oh, yeah.
just like, is that relatable? I don't
Oh,
know.
I've had anxiety like that where you're just going to drop. Yeah.
Completely.
It's not fun at all.
No, it was crippling. And
Yeah.
so music felt like a two-way communication with the etheric realm. It was like my way of coping with
Hmm.
the odd life and body that spirit dropped me into here. Not to mention the odd family and the
Yeah.
trauma that would be unfolding
Yeah.
over the next 56 years. um but it was, and so and I did, while other people were studying math and science and academics. I'm literally, I'm sitting in the back of the classroom dreaming about working in an orphanage
Oh,
in a
wow.
third world country, taking care of babies and even animals. I,
Hmm.
I just felt very disconnected with the mainstream world, and I intuitively knew I would live my life distinctively different than
Well,
most,
that,
although I didn't know what that looked like. And I definitely lived in a world that didn't connect with me, that didn't understand me, and didn't cherish my um, tender heart.
right. You say something I think a lot of people can relate to. I have kids, I have four of them, and one of them in particular reminds me of you. She's very in
Oh,
that other realm, the whole, today, and I know
yeah,
this has been going on a long time, but science, technology, engineering, and math. That's what you have to do. You got to go into
yeah,
these things. That is like not for everybody.
yeah,
It's
completely.
so not everybody. I'm like, what?
Right.
What? Like, that's not how most of us are even made. So
Yeah.
I find that interesting because it is in a school setting. I mean, the kids like you or like that are
Mhm.
creative in nature or service driven are, like you said, coming from this very warm, heart driven space.
Yeah.
They're not nurtured in that.
Oh, completely.
No, you're nuts. This is not what you should be doing.
Yeah, Lindsay, that's such an astute observation. And I will say, um, my female clients bring those kids to see me.
Oh,
So they're like,
good.
here's an adult
Good.
version of you if you can
Yeah.
relate to.
Well, it's
Um,
so heartbreaking when that, because they put you into one big category, you
oh,
know? It's,
completely.
and you have to seek out, like, you have to seek out guidance when you're not
Oh
like
my
that.
goodness. Good luck with
Well,
that,
and then
right?
you're pathologized, right?
Oh, completely. That's right. Let's open the DSM and see where we're. Lindsay, from a comical stance, I can say what did help me is that my birth father is a gay opera singer.
There you go.
So he came out of the closet in the 80s at a
Oh,
time
wow.
where, so you can imagine the scandal
Yeah.
involved in that. But part of me, I think, breathed a sigh of relief because I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, like
Yay.
I'm from a musical origin, and
Right.
this
It makes sense.
this
Yeah.
man is, completely different than everybody else's dad, who's a
Yeah.
dentist or a doctor or a scientist or a teacher. And
Right.
my dad also was a teacher. He taught English and film study, but I had a very, very early exposure to the creative world
Mm.
of music and alternative healing and alternative living at a very young age.
Yeah.
So that was my one saving grace.
Grace. Yeah. It was a
But
familiar thing. Yeah.
yes, but on the other hand, well, naturally my parents then divorced. Right,
Right. A lot of people
that
do.
wasn't going to
Yep.
fly in the mainstream world. But I mean, now I can laugh about it. It's hilarious. But
Yeah.
but my mom, on the other hand, was a science and math teacher.
Huh.
And as you know, my brother is a scientist, and so she didn't do emotions, and you know, there was no place with her. She was a good mom and very consistent in a lot of very important ways, but I think really struggled to understand me
Yeah.
and my creative side and find a way. I mean, she supported me the best that she could by sending music teachers to me
Yeah.
and then paying them to sit and listen to my weird creations and
Yeah.
try to add a little music theory to my work. And so I was able to get some great mentorship through that.
Yeah.
But by and large, yeah, my family, I think, besides my grandparents, had a difficult time really understanding
Yeah.
me and emotionally absorbing the big energies
Yeah. So
that I seem to have.
were you intuitive as a child? Did you sense things at
I
a young
did.
age? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't say so obviously, like I'm sure you and other people you've interviewed on your podcast, and it sounds like your daughter, we're empaths. I
Yeah.
could feel energy. I could
Yeah.
sense impending danger,
Yes.
which isn't good. I could we went to church in my school every Wednesday, and I could hear and sense and feel, Mother Mary and
Mm-hmm.
her kindness and her love. And, I could have these conversations with Jesus, but at the same time, too, I would very often get invited to either leave church or sit in between two nuns for giggling, because
Oh,
also too, I mean, we sat on a wooden pew after lunch, boy girl, and there were just lots of noises that erupted in chapel, and I love joy, I
yeah.
love laughter, and so
And you're
and
punished for it. You're punished.
completely.
Yeah.
I mean, the nuns were actually, I don't have any real horror stories about my Catholic upbringing. The order of nuns, I say, who raised me,
Yeah.
were just like exactly as you would hope they would be, kind and nurturing and sweet. And,
Yeah.
but anyway, so yes, I felt a strong connection to spirit. And post near death experience, what came to follow from that was more an opening up of the clairaudient abilities, and the voice said, Amy, you will be going back to school.
Mm.
That was crazy. I knew that didn't come from me, that was coming through me. And
Yeah.
about, I think it was 2 days later, the voice came back and said, you're going to school to be a hypnotist.
Huh.
Now I knew this wasn't my voice, Lindsay. I had never met a hypnotist. I had never visited a hypnotist. I had never even randomly researched, the training requirements of a hypnotist.
Huh. So what did you, when you hear this, what
Mm-hmm.
was how do I say this? How did you know or differentiate that that was coming from spirit as opposed to your mind talking to you? Because a lot of people, I think,
Yeah.
get confused by their mental chatter
Oh,
and feeling
completely.
a intuitive spiritual message or something like that.
Completely. When it comes from spirit, you don't question it.
Yeah.
You just don't question it. It's just this deep inner truth.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is this voice that I heard on the other side. This was the same voice. And incidentally, I've come to know over time, this is the same voice that's been with me since childhood,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So this is, spirit to me. Um, in retrospect, it felt like I generically call it spirit.
Yeah.
To me, it's the voice of God.
Yeah.
Do I have other guides that that are that I have relationships with? Absolutely. But this is very distinctive.
Mm-hmm.
And so and you hear, it's repetition, right? You hear that voice enough times
Yeah.
that you're like, yeah, I can't, this, yeah, there's something to this.
Yeah.
And it's very grounded. And in many cases, in my case in particular, very directive. I didn't even question it, Lindsay.
Yeah.
In
That's my
fact,
next, that was my next
yeah, I
question.
didn't
Isn't it
question it.
direct? Yeah.
Yeah, it,
Oh,
it, it was so direct. And look, I mean, to be real here, I had nothing to lose by
yeah.
following the voice. It was a lot more logical and optimistic than I could have mustered.
Yeah.
I mean, still at this point, I'm like, okay, I've been rejected by the other side. They're like, nope, we're sending you back. You got work to do, lady. You're not done. And I'm like, now, like, I'm backed into a corner. Well, I
Yeah.
can't like sit around and collect dust and do nothing. I
Yeah.
have to, if I'm gonna continue my more time here on the earth plane, I got to figure out how I'm going to support my
Right.
family. And like I said, I was out of ideas. 30 years in the helping healing profession. Ironically, I had worked in a medical facility
Hmm.
amidst some of my biggest health storms,
Wow.
and it was a pain management clinic. And there was one naturopath on the staff who really listened. And I mean, I'd shut the door and I'd be like, I'm like falling apart here.
Yeah.
And he would say, you need to see a cardiologist. He'd give me B shots. I mean, he's
Yeah.
like, you are not, there's something happening here. Seriously, one of the most loving, compassionate souls. The rest of the Western medicine staff, to be honest, not all of them, but the ones who knew gave me a little bit of a hard time
Yeah.
about, like, because I couldn't put a name on this.
Do they
And
ever think you're just mental, that it's all in your
oh,
head, Amy?
completely,
Amy, you're making it
completely.
up.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, I got, yeah, they had a hard time with me. Every Thursday, once a month for 10 months, I had to fly to Michigan from Thursday and then come back Sunday, for testing, for monitoring, for, plan Bs.
Yeah.
And at the end of that journey, at the 7th or 8th month mark, when I wasn't responding, literally the only treatment left was to receive this medication intravenously. But the risk was I would lose my vision.
Oh, geez.
And so I'm like, I don't know. Now it seems like that was the wisest thing to do, to walk away, because I gained my third eye vision.
Yeah.
Maybe I could have survived better without my vision. I don't know. And he could
Yeah,
have
who knows, right?
saved my immune system, but I couldn't imagine losing my eyes and my vision. Although, truth be told, I use my third eye more than I use my human
Hmm.
vision.
I was going to say, you
And that's
probably,
the
yeah.
truth.
It is because I
Yeah.
think we're always, looking with our eyes. We're seeking to look inform. The answers are in some sort of visual with the eyes, but
Oh,
it's so not like
yeah.
as you're explaining to us with your near-death experience. And I really love the term you keep using, which is crossing the threshold. You said the threshold. I don't hear that a lot from people who've had, and it's almost like, do you think there are levels to the other side as well, in
Oh,
terms
yeah.
of higher consciousness? Because
Uh-huh.
not everybody's having the same experience when they leave the body.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah,
And I think you're given just what you need
right.
to know in terms of the download of wisdom or the sharpening of the gifts of the spirit, because we all have them. I mean, I heard an interview. I mean, the podcast hosts are my, I have so much admiration for podcast hosts like you that I binge listen to all of your shows, just to hear what other amazing light workers are sharing.
Yeah.
There's so much joy in that level of connection and camaraderie. But I remember listening recently to another person's near death experience where they got the whole red carpet tour of heaven or the
Yeah.
other side,
Right.
where they're going into different rooms and they're watching, review of life, and,
Yeah. That's what I'm talking
they're,
about. That
yeah,
experience. Yeah.
completely. Absolutely. And why, maybe, and maybe it's related to the amount of time that you're um officially gone, so
Yeah.
to speak. I
Or
I
what do you
don't
think, Amy?
know.
Sorry to interrupt you, but what do you
Yeah,
think about, like, you received information beyond form? That's how I'm seeing it, right? You
yeah,
didn't need the form to
yeah,
receive the information.
yeah.
And I think that's really interesting because some of us may need the form to
Mhm.
validate the experience as opposed
Yeah,
to, you obviously didn't need that. So you're talking about bringing it like a knowing into your
yeah.
life. So you're now, I'm guessing you can speak to this, but that you're moving through your life with this knowing coming through you.
Oh,
Yeah.
completely. And I have, since then, since, practicing as a spiritual hypnotherapist and layering in all of these other tools, which we'll get to, I've been able to do multiple remote viewings of the other side
Mm.
through the eyes of my relatives who have passed on. And it's glorious and beautiful. And it confirms everything I've heard, I've read, I've come to know through my very in-depth conversations with spirits. So I don't think anything was lost on me in that experience. And our experiences are as different as all of our personalities
Right.
and all of our connections with spirit.
Yeah.
And whoever it is on the other side, whose job it is to receive us and give us that experience,
Mm-hmm.
uh, creates, different experiences for people who have near death.
Right. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
always like to say too that it doesn't matter like how the form of your undoing happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like our own little manual that we each
Yeah.
have. Yeah. And so
Exactly.
it's so interesting. Can you now talk about how you have this epiphany that you need to go become a hypnotherapist? So take
Yep.
us down that path. So you go to
Yeah.
school, and
Yeah.
how does that unfold?
Yeah. And it was such a weird conversation with the instructor. I'm like, look, you only stay awake 2 hours a day right now. And your program is 10 hours a day, like 5 weekends in a row. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'd
Yeah.
like to give this a go. Right. I didn't get into the backstory about near death and spirit told me to do this or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
because again, I didn't want her to, refer me to a psychiatrist who pulled out his prescription pad and or her and
Right.
said, yeah, right, first let's get you on some strong antipsychotics. I just didn't, there's some things best left kept to
There
yourself.
are.
And so I made it through. I mean, this is just such a brief program. I had already had a mat, the humor side of me with spirit is like, I've done 7 years of college. Are you sure? And spirit's like, yeah, Amy, I'm sure. This is like the icing on the cake. We need you to do this, which actually made a lot of sense, Lindsay, because a lot of hypnotists over time have worked out of their home.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, well, maybe this could fit. I mean, this could be a beautiful way for me to be able to accommodate my physical limitations.
Right.
And I'm just going to roll with it. So anyway, 2000, we're going back to 2016. I finished the program in February of 2016. I opened my business in February
Oh,
2016.
wow.
And what unfolded was mind blowing. At first, like all hypnotists, it's very script based. You're like, oh, someone comes to you for a weight loss problem. Here's a script to use. Somebody needs to quit
Yeah.
smoking. Here's a script to use. Well, it took like less than 6 months for me to realize, like, whoa, this is just a launch pad. This isn't really what Spirit had in mind,
Right.
evidenced by the fact that people were getting into my chair and energies were moving through me.
Okay. Yeah. That's where I was like, when did you start moving the
Yeah,
energy through you?
right away, right
Yeah.
away. So this is the trance healing. Although I didn't know it was trance healing, I had no
Hmm.
idea. I just knew energies were moving through me, and
Hmm.
my clients were feeling it. It was
Yeah.
very emotional. It was very cathartic. And then spirit would talk to me. Sometimes spirit would show up before the client showed up
Hmm.
as a form of preparation to say, whatever it is spirit needed me to know.
Yeah.
And I knew spirit was powerful because it was like the great cheat sheet of, spiritual healing sessions. People would sit in first in my little interviewer waiting area where we would just spend time, getting to know each other. And Spirit would download the $1 million question to ask my client within
Mm.
like the first 5 minutes, and tears would flow,
Wow.
right? Tears would flow because we cracked something open
Right.
that needed to be cracked open,
Yeah.
right? And
Exactly.
so, what is the purpose ultimately of hypnosis? To resolve subconscious conflicts,
Hmm.
right? The things that hover beneath the surface of our awareness, right? That need to be
Healed. Yeah.
identified,
Hmm.
but also healed,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
then I started realizing, like, this isn't really hypnosis.
No.
Those are, I mean, there's some great tools and techniques, but this is spiritual healing.
Yeah. It's deeper than that. Yeah.
It's so much deeper than that.
Yeah. But the world needs a language on it, right? It's got
It
to,
does.
you have to,
Where do I file this?
I know. Because
Yeah.
I know so many people probably like you do that same kind of work where I'm a hypnotherapist, but you're
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
you're really channeling energy to help people
Yes.
move on. So,
Exactly.
what is it like
Yeah.
for you, Amy, to feel energy come through you? What is that experience like for you when you're
Yeah.
helping somebody else?
Yeah.
Because I know it's not easy.
Yeah. It is the most mind, mood, soul altering
Mhm.
experience for me. And here's why. Um, and I hope this really sinks into the minds and hearts of other people who are either working in healing modalities, but they're physically struggling or even emotionally struggling, or people who are like, I work in a mainstream position and I'd love to do this work, but I have too many problems,
Mhm.
right? Or I'm not grounded enough, or, the whatever, the long laundry list of reasons or
Right.
excuses is that, that you have found your career calling when the modalities, the tools, the services that you provide slowly begin to heal yourself
Mm.
in addition to your clients. So, and I will share, there were times early in the beginning when I was so not feeling well,
Yeah.
because a lot of my symptoms manifest in the form of flu-like symptoms. Even though I'm not contagious, I don't have the flu, there's a war going on inside my body. I'll spike
Yeah.
a little bit of a fever and all the things. And I remember like having those moments, especially when I first opened my door, of like, how do I do this? I don't feel well. And Spirit said, here's the thing: you don't need to feel well. All you need to do is set a healing intention,
Mhm.
do the work. Just
Yeah.
allow yourself, open your heart, your mind, and your soul to be a conduit or a channel
Right.
to our energy. And so, what does it feel like? The healthiest, best relationship I've ever had with another being comes from the higher realms.
Yeah.
And just having the trust, the relationship, the respect, the strong reverence for source that I have, and humbleness,
Yeah.
right? Because just to be clear, and you know this, Lindsay, and other people who do this work understand this, but there may be listeners who haven't been told this. The energy doesn't come from us
No.
per se, right? It comes through us.
Yeah.
It comes through us. So that doesn't mean that helper healers shouldn't be doing deep work on themselves all the time
Mhm.
to consistently recalibrate to the highest level of frequency as possible, so that our own life conundrums or physical symptoms are not an unnecessary distraction
Right. Yeah.
in the work that we do. And that's what I pray for.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even ask Spirit like, oh, take this away, because I also know that even though I have Spirit helping me turn down the volume on my symptoms, I don't pray to be cured, because I don't necessarily think that's my higher path. I
Yeah.
think I need a little bit of this,
Mhm.
there's no other word, suffering, in order to keep me right in that zone Spirit needs me to be, to understand
Right. I was just
other
going to
humans are enduring.
That's exactly right. You're able to understand the people that you're working with
Oh,
because you have gone through it. And that speaks very loudly to the work that you do, because it's one thing to go to somebody and they might be really good at their work, but if they haven't felt that, it's like, I don't know. I always feel like you would be somebody that I would trust
And you, because you've gone through this thing. And so I would be like, oh, this person knows exactly
Oh,
how it
well,
is, you know?
well, thank you. And Lindsay, I do think, when people all the time say, I've had people say, aren't you mad at God or
Hmm.
spirit for this? And, how do you even get through the day? And I said, no, God and spirit are like co-partners and all things good
Yeah.
that I've, you know, succeeded in accomplishing. I couldn't have done it without spirit and the trust and the love and the compassion that they have shown me. How
Hmm.
many people get to do the work that they were born to do?
Very few. Yeah.
Like I say, this goes back to sitting in the classroom at 8 or 9 years old, in that having that dream sequence in my head of me
Yeah.
holding babies in third world
Mm.
countries. And I truly mean it. If I had more, energy and resources and all the things, I would be traveling the world holding babies in third world countries. Maybe that's in my future.
Maybe it is. Yeah.
I don't know, but in the meantime, for the last 10 years, what I can say is my relationship with spirit and these energies becomes more and more enhanced.
Hmm.
The level of the light workers, the frequency of the light workers, I have the privilege of serving and supporting and working with is mind blowing at this point. I mean, in the beginning, right, as any new practitioner, anybody and everybody could come here, and to an extent, yes, that's the case. But I didn't have a pricing structure. I was like, my I set the bar, you know, low in terms of like, could I actually make a living doing this? Because all I knew is this was what spirit called me to do. And if 1 week of work led to just enough groceries for that week,
Yeah.
then I had gratitude
Right.
for it. And then, and in the beginning, Lindsay, I was trying to work multiple contracts because I couldn't, in the beginning, make a living. And so I was doing all kinds of side jams, whatever my body could allow me to do. I had an immense background in business development. Um, and so I was, moonlighting, helping other entrepreneurs build their empires
Yeah.
uh, through just knowledge and tools. But um, I just still, through the years, through the ups and downs of the economy, just clutched on to spirit's ankle, of like, come on, like we gotta do this. I cannot let go of this modality and
Yeah.
all the amazing gifts that you're layering in along the way.
Well, you have a beautiful journey of trust, is what it
Mhm.
sounds like.
Yeah.
And more people I know get very confused with what does that even mean? I don't know what but it's just so interesting to me that you had this very clear message, you trusted it, you went with it, and you're still, I'm assuming, going with it all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to point out before I have another, we'll get to your books, I want to talk about that for a
Yeah.
minute, is you are speaking to the body, and a lot of people want the perfect body. I have to heal my body, and it has some bearing on their spirituality. Have you heard this? Like, oh, I
Yeah.
to be more spiritual, I have to have a clean body, and there's that realm. I've
Yeah.
heard this,
Yeah.
but you're saying it's not really. That's not what I'm talking about here.
A hundred percent.
To have a connection and communication with spirit has nothing to do really with my physical body. It's like, am I open enough to receive the information and have a relationship and
Yep.
then let it happen?
Absolutely. 100%. In a lot of ways, the weaker the body, the stronger the soul.
Yeah.
And I've heard of many mediums across the globe who were practicing like next level mediumship healing with brain tumors.
Yeah.
dying of cancers, they understand, just as I do, it's part of their soul's path.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to be able to know exactly why. I mean, like I said, I giggle when I think, like, wow, some light workers like me must have agreed to live 7 lives worth of karmic lessons in one
In one.
life. I'm like, whoa, I've always been that ambitious.
Yeah, you went for it.
Yeah, I'm just like, let's get this. And I always say, my big joke with some of my advanced clients / students, I always say, dear God, please don't ever send me back to the earth plane. Let this be my last go round here. I'm done.
I'm right there with you, Amy. I'm like, how do we return? There's so much emphasis on like, oh, let's come back and do it again. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not signing up for that program.
That's right. Time out, sister.
Exactly.
I've had it, right? I feel like I've been dragged by a train, like in 2 directions, like for just eons. But I think sense of humor is really good, and not being able to take everything with such heaviness.
Right.
I think the key, I mean, there's so much spiritual coaching to what I do. My goal with my client, I mean, for a couple things, right? When we start thinking about spirituality and healing, and the things that make spiritual hypnosis different from mainstream hypnosis is this. One, I believe the most powerful healer of all is you,
mm-hmm.
the client, the person, whatever, and your relationship with whoever your higher power is, whatever your higher power is, right?
Yeah.
The other tenet or foundational belief of my work is that the answers lie within.
Yeah.
Right. That it is, I always say, people come here, we do a soul and a wing dusting.
Yeah.
Because
like
each
that.
one of us are incredibly magical and incredibly wise.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's using some of the metaphysical tools that I have to help people deactivate the primitive mind and activate the higher mind.
Right.
That's the infinitely wise part of you that knows how to solve things.
Yeah.
Right. And knows how to receive divine wisdom.
Exactly.
In a way that's palatable, that's manageable, that's doable. And then I also believe that each one of us is an expert in our own healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What works for me, I'm not that arrogant that it works for everyone.
I love that you say that. Yeah.
I mean, I've met some helper healers out there. They blow me away with their modalities, from Reiki practitioners to mainstream therapists to acupuncturists, to even, by the way, light workers aren't all working in these alternative healing modalities.
No.
They're embedded in engineering firms. They work in bakeries.
Yep.
They're business owners of automotive parts stores. I mean, it's a frequency.
Right.
Not a title. So, I mean, let's get over ourselves a little bit. Right?
I love it. No, it's so true. You don't have to be a so-called healer or work in the healing arts to be facilitating, helping someone else and being of service. You're spot on. Yeah. Way to nail it, Amy.
I mean,
Spirit just nailed it.
I just don't buy into that. And I don't allow I never pull the holier than thou card with my clients either. It's like, I've been divorced. The inside of my body probably looks like an 80-year-old. I mean, the body is a temple. We want to be kind
Yeah.
to our physical bodies. I do believe in trying to put high octane fuel
Yeah.
into our mind and our bodies. So I'm saying, we all could turn down the volume on the too much behavior that we all go, including me,
Yeah.
right? We had so many nurses in the pandemic, who are like, oh, no judgment here, Amy, but I've been drinking wine every night. Hey, I get it. If I weren't allergic to wine, I might
Be
be
slugging it back.
wine too. But it's just we're souls first in human form, but each one of us has our laundry list of things that we are tasked with moving through.
Yeah.
Divorce, health issues, career confusion,
Yeah.
children who are challenging to raise.
Oh, yeah.
Just I was one of those. Right? So I'm happy to work with your kids who are challenging to raise. I get them. I am them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all, yeah.
Oh, well, you're so grounded and real. I've just so enjoyed talking to you. Can
Oh,
you just share your new book that you've had
yeah.
come out, Whispers Beyond the Veil, right?
Yeah, Whispers Beyond the Veil. It's so funny. There's so many, turns out, books that are called Whispers Beyond the Veil. It's like oversight on my part, but so I had to add a tagline:
Yeah,
channeled teachings inspired by the spirit world.
that's clear. Hmm.
There's it's for another podcast. There's an amazing story behind this, but I'm going to give you the truncated version. This is my first automatic writing piece. I
Okay.
connected with a medium who passed away within the last, I don't want to give away the farm here. I don't mention her in here
Okay.
um, because I was given her permission or request, because it would make my life a lot simpler. And
Mm,
the rollout of this, what is a spiritual curriculum, it's to help really my spirit's motivation for helping me write this book is to create a spiritual curriculum to
hmm.
help each one of us connect with the most authentic version of ourselves, to connect and understand that all of us are mediums
Right.
and healers.
Yeah.
And there's a special chapter specifically for business leaders,
Mm,
and business owners in here. Um, when I passed this along to some of my medium colleagues and they read it, I also said, as you're reading it, I'm going to read it too. Because spirit merged with me. And as I sat at my computer post download,
yeah.
she moved my fingers. And so you can find it on Amazon. I created, or Spirit created, the Whispers Within, which is every teaching or chapter in this book has journal prompts,
Oh, okay.
which I love. And Whispers Within, for those who want to do a deeper dive and record their thoughts, is just the journal prompts.
Oh, great.
And for people who want to use this, say you're a spiritual workshop facilitator, both are great tools for getting that ball rolling.
This is so amazing because it's something that I feel really strongly about, that there's not enough preparation for our spiritual merging or our spiritual self. And a lot of people can be frightened by those experiences. So the fact that you're offering a spiritual, preparation or core teaching is
Yeah.
so important. I do. I think it's missing today. And that's so great that you're doing that. So thank you, Amy, for bringing that information to everyone.
Absolutely. I started my first spiritual book club using this book with some of my clients who have been with me for years. And it's like 6 women right in my living room,
Oh,
and we
cool.
are having a blast.
I bet.
So I highly encourage other helper healers or just high frequency souls who are wanting to create a spirit or build a spiritual community. It
Yeah.
can be done as informally
Hmm.
as you want, or formally if you have another space outside your home. But we are having a blast. The friendships are forming. We laugh, we cry, we
Yeah.
hug, we eat snacks,
Yeah.
all the things.
All the things.
So
Oh, that's
enjoy
wonderful.
yourself, dig in, and have fun with this.
No, that's really great. And we can buy that, I'm assuming, on Amazon, right? You
On
got to,
Amazon.
yeah.
I know
Okay.
it's like
Well, it's
someone
the
said,
place.
I know. It's like we're all belated
Oh, we
to
are.
Amazon Marketplace, but and it comes in. It's not an audio format yet, although I know I've been told I need to work on that.
Yeah.
But you can get it on Kindle and in physical form, and of course the journal is just in physical form.
Yeah.
But anyway, easy to order. You could probably have it in your house in 2 days or less
Right. I know.
nowadays. And and
Sometimes
it's an easy
overnight.
read. Oh, it's such an easy read, and every chapter is self-contained. So if somebody misses your first, say you work on the first two chapters in your first meeting, and somebody wants to come to the next one where you cover three and four, it's okay.
Okay.
It's
So they can do.
totally, yeah. Spirit was so brilliant in the design. So people
They're,
won't be like, oh gosh, I don't get it, I'm lost. And each chapter is like, I mean, I'm talking minutes to read.
yeah.
I mean, it's so light, and your head won't be spinning. You'll get clarity. I promise you, you'll get clarity, especially if you answer the journal prompts.
Yeah.
It's not too heavy. It's so light
Oh,
and
that's great.
peaceful.
I'm going to get a copy myself.
Oh, thank you,
Of course.
Lindsay. Thank
Well, no,
you.
it sounds really interesting. I'm really curious because when you say it was channeled, like you said, you felt emerging and some spirit
Yeah.
was coming through you. So that's
Yeah.
so amazing. Yeah. Before we wrap up here today, I just want to ask you, is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners? Maybe something that you wanted to hear like years ago and didn't know?
Oh
That,
gosh, yeah,
yeah.
everything,
Yeah, you know what
everything.
I
This
mean?
has
Like,
been painful.
yeah, the things you learn later that you wish you would have known, you know.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say, look, the importance of having a spiritual community.
Hmm.
That has been my godsend. When you work in the helping healing field, it can be very lonely. Everybody comes to you, but where do you have a place to go?
Yeah.
This is why I literally set out to design and develop a place for other high frequency and light workers to go in their darkest hour. And
Yeah.
so this is my work, but also I say, don't isolate yourself through whatever major life transition you're going through.
Right.
Build your community, make it informal. Like I said, the highlight of my week and month is, and I do have some men in some of my groups. I have several groups going each month, but don't isolate yourself. And people more so now than ever, they're looking for community, they're looking for deep soul connections, and it's as good for me and my soul and heart as it is for them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a place where you can just let down your hair and be authentic and laugh and cry and get to know your community on a deeper level. So do that. And then the other thing is, if you're thinking about taking the leap from a mainstream profession
Mm.
and do something more heart driven or soul centered, reach out to me.
Yeah.
My background is helping people create spiritual businesses.
Hmm.
We can do some deep personal healing work. But also, I would love to be your helper, your personal assistant, and sounding board in helping you develop something that may be in greater alignment with the authentic self.
Well, and I know there's people listening who would love to hear that because,
Uh-huh.
you get into that point in your life where you're burned out from what you're doing, and you really feel the call to do something, like you said, more heart driven. So that's awesome. Anybody listening, I will link all of your information into the show notes so they can find you. And thank you so much for reaching out and joining me today. I've just so loved talking to you, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Likewise, they can connect with me on my website. I know you'll put that link, sensoriumhypnosis.com. People can sign up for a free consultation, and Great. You'll get me, and we'll have a conversation that is as real as my conversation is with Lindsay. Lindsay, I appreciate you wholeheartedly, and I can't wait to have you on my podcast.
Oh, thank you for the invite. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
That's it for today's show. Thanks so much for listening. If it resonated, please share, follow, and drop a review with your takeaways. It really means a lot. Visit my website at livelikeeden.com to subscribe for weekly reminders and blogs, or sign up for a free 30-minute consult to explore one-on-one guidance sessions if you're really struggling in Awakening's darkness. Take my Awakening quiz to get a personal podcast playlist that meets you exactly where you're at. See you next week for another deep dive.